Hey there, guys. So, I'm an American accent coach and an English teacher, and today I'm gonna answer some of your questions. So, stay tuned and let's dive right into it. So, the first question was actually for me, how long did it take to get that American accent? And as some of you know, like American English is not my native language in a sense that I didn't acquire it right from birth. So I started learning English pretty early, so I would say around the age of 8. But still, I kind of missed out on these first essential years where you really can, I want to say, embody and hone in on that accent. So I had to catch up with that. And for me, the journey from starting to acquire that American accent to now, it was a stretch like in total like of about 5 years. Whereas 2 years I was just in and out, so I wasn't practicing it consistently. But then the last 3 years, really, I took it more seriously and really doubled down on it. So, yeah, that's pretty much the answer. And I want to say that the more you focus on it, so the intensity of your practice will remarkably influence how fast you will get there. So, the more you practice each and every day, but it's not always about the quality of practice, but also the quantity of practice. Sorry, slip of the tongue, but the quality of practice. So that means, are you listening to native speakers and also gonna try to mimic them, repeat after them, or are you just listening to them? So it's a difference between passively immersing yourself into the accent or actively immersing yourself in the accent. And what I found personally for me worked the best was combining these two. So the best of two worlds. So listen to news every day, to podcasts, CNN. So instead of listening to these news channels in your native tongue, you just listen to them in English because you need to keep yourself updated. And this is kind of an accountability tactic that I found useful because I want to keep myself updated. So I listen to these channels and podcasts every day in the American accent. And on top of that, practice repeating after them. So that's in a nutshell my answer to the question, how long did it take me to get there? The second question is, what's the easiest way to practice tricky English sounds? For example, TH, the TH, or the American R. And what I can say is tongue twisters. So that is like my go-to strategy. So you can just, if you have a sound that's difficult for you, you can just type in Google tongue twisters for this and this sound, or type in YouTube. Maybe in the future, I will also gonna publish some tongue twisters for you to repeat with the TH and the American R. But tongue twisters are the best way to practice these tricky sounds that you find difficult because you're not only repeating the sounds once or twice in a word, but the whole sentence, that's essentially the definition of a tongue twister, the whole sentence just consists of these tricky sounds that you want to practice. And if you repeat these tongue twisters every day, then you will find a huge improvement in that sound, whatever you feel is difficult for you. The second question is, how can I train my ear to understand different English accents faster? Okay, so two things here. If you really want to master an accent, one specific accent, whatever is it, Australian or American, British, I wouldn't recommend listening to several accents because then you're all over to the place and you will acquire an accent which is a mixture, a hodgepodge out of all these different accents. So if you're in that state of just want to practice or master one accent, say the American accent, I would recommend just listen to this accent over a period of whatever you feel is necessary. It's usually longer than we wish to speak in that accent. So just listen to American movies, podcasts, or whatever. But if your aim is to just understand different English accent faster, then you do essentially the opposite. You're still gonna listen to English every day, but you're gonna switch it up. One day you listen to BBC, which is like in the standard British accent. The next day you're gonna switch to CNN and then maybe to an Australian channel. So you just immerse yourself in different accents. So each day you switch it. And you can maybe even create a plan. Mondays, I'm going to listen to American podcasts, Tuesdays, British, Wednesdays, Australian, or whatever. So it's like switching, this practice of switching the accents that will enable to broaden your knowledge of the different accents and understand them faster. The last two more questions. Tips on how to train my speaking fluency or accent so it feels like I'm really thinking in English. So this is a huge one because in the early stages of acquiring an accent or beefing up your English, you will necessarily feel that you're still translating from your native language to English and vice versa. And that's what's slowing down your speaking fluency because you can't answer like instantly. You still have that seconds where you need to translate, and this will make you sound less fluent than you maybe are. And for me, again, the go-to strategy here is every day surround yourself in English. Kind of a broken record, but it really helps. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, so everything that you listen to in your native language, just switch it with English. So I'm sure you listen to news channels or a news podcast or what have you every day in your native language. Cut that and substitute it with English. And do that longer than you want to because it will take longer. Yeah, but you will get there for sure if you just keep it a habit and do it every day. And this immersion in English, yeah, subconsciously, because on the same time you can go for a walk, listen to that English podcast or audiobook. Subconsciously, your brain will work. It will help you to tweak your brain into thinking in English. And then when you're in a conversation, it will come out faster. You don't need that instant of translating anymore. On top of that, because that's just passive immersion, I would recommend maybe joining conversation classes on italki. Gonna put it in the chat, the resources that I mentioned here. italki is a great platform. It's also affordable. Then I know you can also book group classes with several people and one-on-one classes. The group classes are way more affordable and you can speak on different topics and you can choose a class that is suitable for your English level. I would recommend that on a regular basis. I don't know, maybe how often you can do it, maybe at least once a week. So do that, and then I'm gonna also recommend an AI app. I'm also gonna put it in the video description. It's called Tellem. It's also pretty affordable. I think $10 a month, and it's an AI, and it's an American accent coach AI, and you can essentially it's a woman, the voices of a woman, and you can talk with her about whatever you want to, and also get feedback. So I would also recommend that classes, Preply or Preply. I think it's also a platform, can also put it in the link. So that's for sure. And then the last question is any tips on how to make my accent sounding as clear and natural as yours? Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate the flowers, so to speak. Yeah, the compliment. Any tips? Yeah, I think it all ties together here because the more you immerse yourself in English podcasts, movies, you will get a feeling for that natural rhythm, intonation, that can be quite different to your own language. Because the problem is what makes one's accent in English sound unnatural is that we tend to subconsciously transfer the rules of our first language to English, and that doesn't work. So that sounds unnatural because it sounds closer to our own language than to English. And also, besides immersing yourself in English, listening to this channel is also great. I want to say learning the difference between the rules of your native language and English. And we also have a playlist. I think it's tailored to different language learners who have a different language background. And we're gonna expand that playlist. Right now, it consists of a tutorial for Indian and German speakers of English, but more gonna come out in the future as well. So I'm gonna also recommend that. And in addition to that, the book Mastering the American Accent that I always refer to when I do this practice tutorials. I'm also going to put it in the chat. It comes with audio files, and the book contains everything you need to know about the American accent. So, guys, if you have any other questions with regards to the accent, English learning in general, or what have you, please put them in the chat so I can include them in the next Q&A recording. And I hope you have a good one. Bye.